Chapter 5 Season 3 FNCS is now over and we need to talk about it. There is some crazy stuff that happened during this FNCS. This was just by far one of the craziest FNCSs to ever happen, and I'm going to be talking about it and breaking it down for you guys. Now, as you guys probably know, FNCS only happens about once every 3 to 4 months, so there's always a lot of crazy things that can happen during one of these massive tournaments. There are a ton of people playing in each of these tournaments, and only 50 teams will qualify to the grand finals, which will let you actually make money from these tournaments. The winners take home $140,000, so these tournaments are a huge deal and they get the attention of millions of people, but this FNCS was notably special. Now, this FNCS took place during by far the worst season of Fortnite in history. Chapter 5 Season 3 Wrecked has been dominated by cars, awful map changes, and awful loot pool. Overall, this season just sucks, and yet this FNCS tournament was by far the most important one leading up to the Global Championship, which is taking place in Fort Worth this September. This FNCS also was the most stacked FNCS tournament that we've ever seen. We've had a ton of the best EU players coming over to North America, like Veno, Tayson, Mongrel, and Mr. Savage, to come from EU to Dallas, Texas to try and compete on NA and see if they can win. Despite all of these incredibly good EU teams coming over, I've been saying this for years, but NA players are just better, and EU dropped the ball and only a couple of the teams did good. Teams, for example, like Tayson and Iamso barely missed the qualification, despite Tayson commonly being considered the Booga of EU. He is considered one of the best players of all time, and even he did not qual, getting only 15th place. Now, Mongrel and Mr. Savage also missed qualification, getting only 28th place, which really does suck. Also, make sure you guys go down and follow my Twitch. It's the first link in the description. I try and stream as much as possible. I'm usually streaming in the evenings. Despite all of that insanity, the craziest thing to happen during this FNCS involved Clix, and there's a lot of drama to talk about. Now, first off, Clix and Epic Whale as a duo ended up splitting a little while back, and Clix started playing with a pro player from EU by the name of Veno. Now, Veno is an incredible player who recently moved in with Clix to try and help Clix get his first FNCS win. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Clix and Veno only placed 4th, which was incredibly disappointing for the hundreds of thousands of people who were watching Clix on Twitch. But how did this happen? Well, for starters, the FNCS format works on a 2-day schedule. The first day, everyone will play 6 games, and on the second day, the players will also play 6 games, but each game will have a 1.5 times multiplier for all of the points. During the first day, Clix and Veno were leading everyone and remained in first until the very end. They had 334 points, with Peterbot and Pollo only having 313. There was some slight drama during the first day because another pro player by the name of Zypha decided to grief Clix. Zypha and his duo Shore were landing somewhat near Clix, and he decided to destroy a vending machine which Clix and Veno used to heal while tanking Storm. The situation caused a lot of backlash, mainly for Booga, because Zypha and Booga lived together, and Booga was trying to win and was near the top of the leaderboard. People even assumed that Booga paid his roommate to land on Clix and grief him so that Booga would have an easier time winning. These allegations are currently not proven, but since similar things have happened during FNCS tournaments, a lot of people believe it to be true. Now, despite the griefing, Clix and Veno expected day 2 of the tournament was going to be a lot worse, with players doing anything they could to try and grief the top teams in hopes of winning. Day 2 saw Clix getting griefed by 2 different teams. The less important team that griefed Clix was Hazard and Sandman, which is a team of cheaters who placed towards the bottom of the leaderboard after day 1 of the tournament. They decided to land on the hill by Sandy Steps and take a few shots at Clix and Veno. After aimbotting Veno, at least one of them was killed, but in a few other games, they aimbotted Clix and Veno some more, forcing them to waste some of their precious heals. Now, believe it or not, it gets even worse. Another team, which I believe has now been disqualified, was a team called Flappy and Evan, who decided to fully grief Clix and Veno by landing on them and ruining their loot path, taking their loot, fighting them off spawn, and destroying their vending machine with precious heals inside of it. Now, a common playstyle that Clix and Veno do in these big tournaments is landing at Sandy Steps and then tanking the Storm for about half of the game, just buying patch-ups and med kits for the later game, so when someone destroys that vending machine, their entire game is thrown off. Now, while it is very common in FNCS tournaments or any tournament like this to have some sort of griefing, this was just insane. This was an entirely different level of griefing, and Flappy and Evan were even bragging about it on Twitter. Now, Flappy, the main recipient of the backlash, was also being followed on Twitter by Peterbot, which is ironic ironic because many people speculated that Peterbot paid him to grief Clix. Flappy and Evan were not going to win FNCS by any stretch of the imagination. They were placing so close to the bottom of the leaderboard, they had almost no points day 1 or day 2, so it only made sense for them to grief the number 1 team to help Peterbot and Poyo win the tourney. Now this is not 100% confirmed, of course, if they did grief to help Peterbot, but either way they still did grief, and that did end up helping Peterbot in the long run. People had even speculated that Peterbot had paid Flappy and Evan to grief Clix to help them win. This is obviously not currently confirmed, but there are various screenshots of allegedly deleted tweets which show Flappy hating on Clix and meat-riding Peterbot, but I cannot confirm the legitimacy of all of these tweets. Either way, it seems incredibly fishy that Peterbot was trailing Clix only by a few points, only for someone that Peterbot follows on Twitter to start landing on Clix and bragging about it, all while glazing Peterbot in the process. It's an incredibly suspicious situation, but Flappy and Evan were both immediately dropped from their organizations as a result of this behavior. Unfortunately, that is not enough, because Clix and Veno still lost out on tons of potential points in the tournament, and due to that, they came 4th overall. Now for other big teams like Acorn and Cold, they struggled during day 1 but managed to secure 3rd place. Batman Booga and Rapid both lived together and lost internet during day 1, but they were still able to pull off an incredible 2nd place performance, while Cheaterbot and Poyo took home 1st place to the surprise of nobody, making Peterbot the undeserving back-to-back FNCS winner. Yet again, Peterbot did not stream the event, and neither did Poyo. They both got to land entirely uncontested at Redline Rig, which has the Mythic Combat Assault Rifle and the Infinite Healing Medallion, which they got entirely free every single game. Not a single other team griefed them at any point during the tournament, and they were not the victim of a cheater team in any capacity. Whether or not Peterbot cheats himself or doesn't cheat, he does not deserve this win by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, Peterbot did not deserve his last FNCS win either. People constantly say that Peterbot is the best Fortnite player to ever touch the game, but that is just not true at all. Peterbot has only been dominant in the last 2 seasons of the game during the most broken metas of all time. During Chapter 5 Season 2, Peterbot and Poyo got to land at Grim Gate uncontested the entire season. This is not because they're the best off-spawn fighters in the game or anything like that, it's because everyone who landed at Grim Gate had to contest a single chest to have a chance at winning the POI. No matter how many players land on the chest, it is entirely a 50-50 who gets the gun first, and no professional team with any sort of skill was going to risk their FNCS placement just to get a single chest. Every professional player in North America just let Peterbot and Poyo have the Grimgate coin for completely free, and that came with the best shotgun of the entire chapter, along with the best mobility item that Fortnite has ever seen, letting Peterbot and Poyo take height every single game and dominate the entire lobby. That is not skill, and that is not fair. I've said it since the beginning of Chapter 5, but mythics and medallions are horrible for the competitive side of the game. Giving a single player or team an incredibly overpowered weapon and ability are not fair at all. While anyone is able to get these items in theory, nobody is going to risk the 50-50 and potentially lose out on money or placements to bigger tournaments. This is the sole reason that Peterbot and Poyo have won FNCS these last 2 seasons. Despite my personal beef with Peterbot, I'm not saying this out of spite for him, I'm saying it because it's true. Not a single team should ever have a guaranteed weapon or item which gives them a major competitive advantage over others, because that removes the skill from the game and gives them an easier road to victory. No other video games do this because it is not balanced or fair in a competitive environment. The fact that Peterbot and Poyo get away with never streaming, never getting griefed, never getting stream sniped, never getting lobby focused, always getting the best overpowered items, and potentially cheating on top of that means that Peterbot and Poyo do not deserve this FNCS win at all, nor should they be considered the best team on the region. If Peterbot and Poyo did not have all of these advantages, they would 100% be placing 20th or below on the leaderboards. I saw a great tweet earlier that said, if Poyo gets knocked, nobody bats an eye. But if Clix breathes, he gets lobby focused, and that is entirely accurate. Since Clix was streaming with 150,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch, people tried extra hard to grief him and farm the clout and attention from him. He also doesn't have the option of not streaming because he is the #1 Fortnite streamer in the entire world right now, and it would be a horrible look for the game if he did not stream the event. He is currently the poster boy for Fortnite content, and it would be really bad for the competitive side of Fortnite if he did not stream it. To put it simply, this FNCS was cooked. We had some of the biggest teams from EU come to North America to try their luck on a different region, and it fell flat for most of them. EU is a drone server and is overall far less skilled than North America. Clix deserved the win, but unfortunately was griefed by Peterbot's friend and cheated on by a drone team, while Peterbot had an incredibly easy road to first place. Overall, I'm very excited to see how this FNCS tournament goes at LAN, but that being said, don't forget to follow me on Twitch and have a good one.